In the Hardaway Southern T, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time, a long time, greatly appreciate it if y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy. Whether it's your first time, if you could do me a solid, hit that subscription button for your boy. Don't make it your last time. We here for a good boxing conversation, man. I know some of y'all gonna be passing through. Know some of y'all at work. Know a lot of y'all got ish to do. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to be here, and I greatly appreciate it. We about to talk this good boxing. Some interesting right news came across my feed right now. This is something that I did a story on a while back, right? But y'all know how I love to regurgitate things, especially when right it come from people in high places, right? This is not necessarily an EP about a particular boxer, right? But this EP is more so about the people that make the fights, right? The boxing promoters and managers and whatnot. But right before we get into all that, I'm gonna say what's up to the people in the building. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Ray Buck. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Ray Buck. Glad you could make it. My girl Just Dad. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Dad. Glad you could make it beautiful. My guy Gerald Fitz was good, Gerald, from the UK. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Gerald. Where we at? Take, M, what's good, baby? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Tay. The beautiful Miss Tay. MP, what the fuck? Back like we never left. What's good, Brody? If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy, man. Whether you just passing through, we about to get into it, right? So that's everybody, right? Yep, I think that's everybody. Pablo Escobar, what's good, Pablo? Appreciate you sliding through. That wasn't everybody. My boy Pablo was in here. What's good, Pablo? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Pablo. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Help get your boy going in that algo. Help your boy stay in that algo. Let YouTube know that we live. Let YouTube know that we're talking to your box, right? So this particular EP, right? This ain't about a boxer in particular, right? This EP is about the dudes in the suits. This EP is about the dudes who make the fight, right? Not the dudes who participate in them, right? So Bob Arum, and Al Heyman. Yesterday, Tay. That was yesterday. We did that yesterday, Tay. So I think somebody is doing it. But Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, they've been going, through a little back and forth move. They've been going through, a little back and forth. They had an ongoing beef. I'm not really sure, right, when exactly this particular beef started, right? Not really sure when this particular beef started, this instant, right, started. But they've been going back and forth for about a month or so now, right? Bars back and forth about Bob, been going back and forth with Eddie about Eddie not being able to make fights, right? And for the most part, what Eddie Hearn had been doing, right? Eddie Hearn had been saying that ESPN and Top Rank is going out of business now. Why we got to listen to Eddie Hearn when he talk, right, because of his place of position. We also kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, right? But this particular situation right, with Bob Arum, this isn't, something that hasn't been publicized. This isn't something that isn't public news, right? About ESPN and their concerns with the Top Rank and how they've been moving. What you mean, Southern T? Well, let me slow down a little for a second, right? We all know that Top Rank, right, is a faction of ESPN. ESPN invested in Top Rank, which is why all of the Top Rank fights are shown on ESPN. Which is why all the Top Rank fights are shown on ESPN, right? ESPN basically is ESPN basically bought. ESPN allows Top Rank to showcase their fighters and their fights on their platform, right? But ESPN is also a faction of Disney. Disney is, a children's program, a family program, right? They're not into a whole lot of drama. They're not into a whole lot of mess, right? ESPN is a faction of Disney. Top Rank is a faction of ESPN, and ESPN is a faction of Disney. DS. What's good, DS? Appreciate you sliding through. Boy, when you roll on in, appreciate y'all folks sliding through. Help your boy getting that out. Go let YouTube know that we talking this good boxing. Let YouTube know that you in the place to be where you at. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to be here. I don't take that with a grain of salt. Greatly appreciate you sliding through this thing, right? But I digress, right? So Top Rank is a faction of ESPN, right? ESPN. Top Rank. Okay, y'all can hear me. Top Rank is a faction of ESPN, right? ESPN is a faction of Disney. Disney is a family-friendly program, meaning Disney got to keep their name good. Disney is not in the business of letting anything negative sully their name, whatever the word is, right? So when Eddie Hearn says that ESPN is a mess and that Top Rank is a mess, right? And that ESPN said that they aren't going to renew, right? That's not something that we haven't heard before, right? At least if you've been paying attention to Southern T, because we talked about that as well. True Allah was good. King. Appreciate you slide through this thing. True, glad you can make it. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in, right? So ESPN, right? ESPN having its doubts, right, about Top Rank. Like that's not something That's not something that's not, publicly known, right, on the public forum. When Eddie Hearn says that uh, Top Rank is done, ESPN not even renewing its contract, that's stemming from the legal allegations that Top Rank got themselves in over the last couple years, right? That's more so what it is. Disney is a top ESPN is a faction of Disney, and Disney is ran by family people. You know what I mean? It's ran for children. It's a family program, right? So if ESPN is a faction of Disney, having Top Rank on ESPN, right? It's all associated in one another. So in fact, if Top Rank got a lot of legal stuff going on, right? That's a fallback on ESPN, which is a fallback on Disney. All right. So if Top Rank is out here, right, in legal trouble, it falls back on ESPN, which is why you don't see ESPN cover a whole lot of with Tyson Fury, right? We think should be on ESPN, don't be on ESPN. It's funny how ESPN, right, air out everybody else dirty laundry, right? But they won't air out their own dirty laundry. They try to keep things like this under wraps, but people like me who dig into stuff, right? Who dig into stuff like this, I'm gonna drop the beans I'm gonna spill the beans on them every time because they spill the beans on us and now people, right? So I'm gonna spill the beans on every time. Eddie Hearn said Top Rank is done because ESPN is not going to renew their contract, right? And I know how we don't really like to listen to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn be talking out the side of his neck on a lot of stuff, right? But what Eddie Hearn saying is some truth to this. And the reason that I brought this up is because I spoke about ESPN. Top Rank. I'm gonna say Top Rank, right? So we can know exactly who we talking about, right? Because ESPN basically, is allowing Top Rank to air their fights on ESPN, right? But Disney, you know, is a ESPN is a faction of Disney. So Disney is really the head of all this, right? So, this Top Rank and this ESPN probably not renewing with Top Rank. That's a real thing. There's been some mumblings for a while. You know what I mean? There's been some rumblings for a while. So yeah, Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum are going back and forth with these bars, and then Eddie Hearn say something like this, and people may gloss over it, right? But in all seriousness, ESPN really is having second thoughts or having thoughts, about dropping Top Rank from ESPN. That means, the Shakur Stevensons, the Bud Crawfords, the Raymond McTylers, the Oscar Valdez, all those guys. Those guys are probably going to be having to find a different platform, right? And it's only Top Rank's fault. Like, it's not anybody else's fault. It's actually Bob Arum's fault, which is why, on this situation, you might want to listen to Eddie Hearn. He's saying that Top Rank is done. Top Rank is done because of moves and people that Bob Arum got into bed with, right? If you've been on Southern T, you know about this because I told you about the investigation that Top Rank and Bob Arum is under, right? Legal situation, big case or RICO case dealing with Daniel Callahan. It's been documented. It's been documented and reported, right? Uh, Public news that Bob Arum and Daniel Callahan met up about 4 times in Las Vegas to discuss, you know what I mean, fights, right? And anybody who doing business with Daniel Callahan, right, who is a mob boss, right, any money that you made with him would be considered, dirty money, right? Anybody who had been working with Daniel Callahan was brought in for questions to ask, exactly what was going on with working with Daniel Callahan. Bob Arum got himself into bed with Daniel Callahan by dealing with Tyson Fury, who is managed by Daniel Callahan. Also, Josh Taylor is also under the same investigation, right? The reason that all this, the reason that all this is relevant, the reason that all this is relevant because all of that legal situation, all these investigations on the Top Rank in ESPN, that falls back on Disney, who is funding the money for all of this. So if ESPN is funding money for Top Rank, right? And Top Rank is making ESPN look bad. Disney, which is the family program, right? They got a serious problem with having all this type of stuff on their name, right? This type of this level of criminal activity on their name, right? So Disney is dealing with Top Rank, right? And Top Rank is under investigation for working with a crime, a criminal, you know what I mean, a world criminal organization. That's a terrible look for Disney, right? So that's why Disney, in contract with ESPN, that's why all these rumblings are coming up about Disney ESPN not re-signing Top Rank after their contract is up in 2025. ESPN Top Rank contract is up with ESPN in 2025, and the feel around the whole subject is that they're not going to re-sign Top Rank. He said you did your damn research, Sudden T. Shout out my guy Pablo. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Pablo. So the room right now is that you know uh Disney ESPN is not going to re-sign Top Rank because they're making the company look bad with all of these legal investigations. So that is where Eddie Hearn is coming from when he say that. I did this EP man months ago over here on this channel. You know, I did the EP months ago. You know what I mean? Over here. So what Eddie Hearn saying is some truth to that, right? But let's read the article straight from Eddie Hearn, right? So you don't got to take my word for. We go read the article. I know how y'all like to believe other people over Sudden T, right? So we go read the article, right? The war of words between promoters Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum continues. Hearn, the head of Matchroom Boxing, has feuded with Arum, the founder of Top Rank, for the past couple years, principally through the media. The latest flare-up was promoted after Arum conducted an interview in which he blasted Hearn for being a joke in the U.S. boxing scene, which admittedly is not a new critique from Bob Arum. Among the boxing people in the United States, Eddie Hearn is a joke, really a joke, a clown. He's taken the zone money and had a big campfire with the money. Even Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy on the same platform has outshone Eddie Hearn. So I don't take Eddie very seriously. I don't take any promoter who is braggadocious and frankly doesn't deliver seriously. But in Eddie's own mind, he's the greatest thing that ever lived. That's what Bob Arum had to say about Eddie Hearn. Quick, TWT was good. I just gave y'all the breakdown, on the story real quick. Now I'm finna read, from day in. Skywalker, what's good? Skywalker TWT, what's good, Tim? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Tim. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it, pimp. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, right? But I digress. When Hearn was shown the footage of Arum on someone's iPhone as the subsequent interview, he checkily held the phone next to his face and asked observers around him to compare visages. Who do you reckon has a bigger future in boxing? Hearn said in the interview with IFL TV. Who do you prefer as a promoter? I like braggadocious, Hearn continued. What I can't understand is that everyone in America thinks that I'm a joke. I promote Canelo Alvarez. We just did 50,000 in Mexico. I did Canelo's Triple G fight last year. I did Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol. We sold out Madison Square Garden. Hearn then tasked for the reportedly tepid pay-per-view sales garnered by the undisputed light heavyweight championship between Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko that took place last weekend. Top Rank has an exclusive content deal with ESPN. Haney won a unanimous decision over Vasyl Lomachenko. Reportedly posted the fight did about 150,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States, which, if true, will be an underwhelming figure. The recent lightweight clash between Davis and Ryan Garcia, on the other hand, reportedly generated over 1 million pay-per-view buys. The biggest fight he's done for years and years is Haney and Lomachenko, which is a fact. You know what I mean? This Eddie Hearn saying this. The biggest fight he's done for years is Lomachenko. It did 150 buys. Top Rank has no big fights. Let me ask you a question. What's the last biggest fight Top Rank has done? Who can answer that question? Who can answer that question? And it's not even a big fight. The last fight did 150,000 pay-per-view buys, right? Arms Top Rank, of course, co-promoted latter two fight trilogy between Wilder and Fury. Nevertheless, Hearn also needed Arm by insisting that the upcoming fight between 140-pound Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez that are will promote currently under the underperforming box office that will take place at the Madison Square Garden Theater in New York. At the moment, you're stuck on this. You got Teofimo Lopez against Josh Taylor in the theater in Madison Square Garden. They can't even sell out. The theater has 4,000 seats. He said Top Rank is completely finished. Bob Arum calls mere joke braggadocious. It's done. It's over. The end of story. The ESPN contract is gone. He said the ESPN contract is gone. Right? When Eddie Hearn say the ESPN contract is gone, right? It's some truth to that, right? I just broke it down, you know what I mean, early in the stream, some people just getting in, right? So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna reiterate on what I was hitting on a little bit earlier, right? So the whole thing is, right, Disney, ESPN is the Disney company, right? ESPN is under the Disney umbrella. We all know that Disney is a family show. Disney promote, kids. Disney promote positivity, right? The Disney Channel ain't nothing but smiling kids everywhere, right? They want to keep their image the way it's been for all these years, right? Pretty much scratchless, right? Pretty much, stainless, right? So a lot of people don't know, right? ESPN, the sports channel, is funded by Disney. What that means is Disney is getting that bread, right? So Disney invested in ESPN, and look at what ESPN is, right? You know what I mean? So Disney, ESPN, right? ESPN invested in Top Rank. Top Rank is Bob Arum. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I ain't told y'all how Bob Arum is the one that really messed it up. It's really Bob Arum's fault. I bumped over it, but Bob Arum is really the only one to blame, right? You know what I mean? But ESPN invested in Top Rank, right? Top Rank is Bob Arum. So ESPN invested in Bob Arum. Bob Arum is the one that's messing up the ESPN and Disney name. So to tell you what you mean he messing up the ESPN Disney name. That's not true. Well, it is true. Let's just go down the list, right? And I'm gonna really get into it now, right? Not even just the Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor, right? And the mob boss and the Daniel Killahan thing, right? This just the latest news. And matter of fact, right, you could go to Google right now and you could Google ESPN under investigation, right? And all of that stuff will pop up if you don't want to take my word for it, right? Matter of fact, let's do this. ESPN top rank investigation, right? The referee. Let's go. It's a story on Yahoo, but you could. It's not just the Daniel thing. You could Google that, right? Google top rank Daniel Callahan investigation. Bob Arum met with Daniel Callahan for I think it was like 4 meetings in Las Vegas from the Tyson Fury fights, right? The Tyson Fury fights are the fights that's under investigation because those are the fights that he worked with Daniel Callahan. They trying to see if any murky or muddy business was going on between Bob Arum and Daniel Callahan because Daniel Callahan is a wanted mob boss. You know what I mean? It's documented and publicized that Bob Arum met with Daniel Callahan for meetings, right? And Daniel and Bob Arum even had to come out and say he of Daniel Callahan and any of these allegations up against him. He said the business that him and Daniel Callahan did was strictly, you know what I mean, for was strictly Yahoo Sports. Not playing with y'all. Yahoo Sports. Top rank pay alleged mob bosses over 4 million in consulting fees for Tyson Fury. April 14, 2020. This ain't my first time. Yahoo Sports. Go to Google, man. That's all you got to do. Top rank Daniel Callahan. I ain't like I put that in. I butchered his name, right? But they knew what I meant. I don't just be talking over here, right? So not even just that one, right? I'm not just talking about that one. Not even just that one, right? But you also have Bob Arum. Top rank has been sued multiple times over the course of its existence. Top rank has been sued multiple times by multiple fighters over the course of its existence. You know what I mean? Mikey Garcia sued Top Rank. Manny Pacquiao sued Top Rank. You had other promotional companies suing Top Rank. You had Floyd Mayweather suing Top Rank. You had um uh uh was that Bernard? I don't know. It's a myriad of people, right? Who has taken Top Rank to court, and it's a myriad of people who has won. Usually, the people that take Bob Arum Top Rank, just Top Rank, right? Not ESPN and Disney, but all this falls back on ESPN and Disney too, right? But it's plenty of people, not even just the Daniel Killahan thing. That's the most serious thing, right? That's federal time, right? And people still people still saying that they didn't cheat Deontay Wilder, but they clearly under investigation, right? But I digress. This just the most recent thing. That may be the most foul thing. That may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? The Daniel Killahan thing. But Top Rank has been getting sued for a long time by a myriad of people for a myriad of reasons. You know what I mean? Bob Arum pretty much, for lack of a better word, right? A phrase, he dug his own grave in that situation. You know what I mean? He pretty much dug his own grave when it came to that. Like, and on top of what Eddie Hearn is saying, G Fizzle was good. And on the top of what Eddie Hearn is saying, Sari, what's good? What's good, Sari? Appreciate you slide through. On top of what Eddie Hearn is saying, right, about Bob Arum making the big fights, right? What did I just come on here and say last week, bro? I was like, bro, Top Rank don't make no big fights. Did y'all see Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko for Devin Haney's very first pay-per-view? That's damn good, 150,000, right? But if you talking about what Top Rank been doing, if you compare it to what everybody else been doing, you compare it to what Bob been doing, 150,000 on pay-per-view. That is terrible on the grand scheme of things. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's great for Devin Haney's first pay-per-view to be able to get that first ESPN pay-per-view. Your first time on pay-per-view, you do 150,000. I could tell you a lot of people who didn't do 150,000 on their first pay-per-view, but this EP ain't about that for me to go tear nobody else down, right? But for Devin personally, 150,000 is great. But on the grand scheme of things, for Bob Arum to not even really do pay-per-views, Bob Arum is strictly a TV fighter. Think about it. How many Top Rank pay-per-views have you seen ESPN and Top Rank do on their own? That's what Eddie Hearn was talking about, on their own, not a co-promotional with PBC. PBC name is attached to all the big fights, right? They attached to all the big fights, right? But just you could take the fights that just the PBC made on their own big fights and do the number that just the zone made on their own big fights, and then do the number of big fights that Top Rank made just on their own, right? PBC and the zone are beating Bob Arum as far as big, huge fights. This was Bob Arum's first pay-per-view in a long time, years, like damn near like 20 years, 25 years almost, right? Devin Haney probably wasn't even born the last time Top Rank had its own sole pay-per-view by itself. Think about it. Think about it. The last time he did on his own, right? Bob was saying pay-per-view is dead. Bingo. Bob and the zone. They both was trying to hop on their train, right? But PBC and Showtime, is constantly, setting the standard and showing people how you do business, right? You put on you put on fight cards, you put on free fight cards, right? And then you stack the pay-per-view fight cards. You put fighters that people want to see. You get the fighters that the people want to see. You know what I mean? You don't go and try to create fighters and make the people want to see them. You don't go find fighters and push them in their face, right? You get the fighters that people gravitate to. And then you put them on pay-per-view. And then you give us a live ass undercard. You know what I mean? But I digress. All of this, right? All of this is Bob's fault. Bob Arum took that ESPN money and he penny pinched it. At the end of this, Bob Arum gonna be rich as a bastard. But I tell you this, Bob Arum fighters and the people that work for Bob Arum, right? And by people that work for him, I mean the fighters, right? And the people in them offices. In the end, they gonna be the ones that's messed up because Bob Arum gonna be the one that made hella money, that made his profit off it, taking them folks' money, putting it in his pocket, penny pinching, trying to sell us as if Sari was good. Sari, there you go, buddy. There you go, Brody. What's good, Sari? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. But this is solely, Bob Arum's fault. Bob Arum don't do pay-per-views, right? Bob Arum didn't want to work with no other company. He don't want to work with the PBC. He don't want to work with the Zone, right? He'll work with Daniel Killahan. Let's pay attention to this, y'all. Really pay attention to this, right? Because y'all know something. T ain't gonna lie to you. We just saw Michael Conlon and Lopez fight on ESPN, right? Right. We see Josh Taylor fight on ESPN, right? We see Tyson Fury fight on ESPN, right? Where are all those fighters from? Right? he don't do business with the zone. He don't really do business with Golden Boy, but he always got European fighters fighting on ESPN. Did y'all notice in the last couple of years, it's been a plethora and a myriad of fighters not from the zone, fighters not from Golden Boy, but fighters from overseas, fighters from the UK, fighters that used to be MTK Global. You know what I mean? It's been an influx of fighters that you've never heard of on ESPN Plus. You know what I mean? Fighting these fights. That's because Bob Arum getting the fighters from somewhere. You know what I mean? He getting them from somewhere. That's that Daniel Killihan package that he got going on that everybody keep looking over. So when Eddie Hearn say that Top Rank is dead on ESPN, it's probably some truth to that because of the deals that Bob Arum, has been doing, the heat that Bob Arum has been bringing, you know what I mean, to himself over there on ESPN and Top Rank. You know what I mean? So I know Eddie be talking that bull sometimes, right? But in this particular situation, you do a little research, might be some truth to this. The history, Bob Arum's history, right, might have caught up to him. Top Rank was started with mess, right? Bob Arum, it was a mess. Bob Arum had to go to court in the legal situations just to get Top Rank. You know what I mean? To begin with, Top Rank was started on some mess and on some bull. You know what I mean? And this go in on some mess and on some bull. You better believe that. You know what I mean? But I most definitely, I wasn't gonna hold y'all too long, in this thing, because I gotta, make my bets, right? Gotta do my fans. I think the baseball game started at 12. You know what I mean? So I want to get my bets in. I want to get my stuff in. He's at Top Rank. He's at Thriller in Manila. About 50 years ago, he said Top Rank seats at every venue cheaper too. The Haney Loma tickets were horrible. Yeah. By Arrow. It may as well be. It may not be. No more ESPN on Top Rank, man. You know what I mean? It may not be no more Top Rank on ESPN after 2025. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this, right? I done told y'all all this information, right? If y'all can catch the playback, I'm in this 35 minutes. Y'all can catch the playback, right? I'm gonna end y'all with this, right? Top Rank contract is up with ESPN in 2025, right? We about midway to 2023. We're about midway to 2023, right? So we got about a year and a half. In a year and a half, right, we'll know. You know what I mean? My question is, if Bob Arum is not on ESPN, where is Bob Arum going to go? Right? I'm thinking Bob Arum may just retire and say toodles. That's why I don't think he really care if they don't resign ESPN back, because he done made all the money for a long time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, Tim, I'm telling you. And Top Rank is making the ESPN and Disney name look bad, and they tired of it. Not just the most recent situation, right, with the Daniel Callahan. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? This was the straw that broke the camel's back. Top Rank paid alleged mob boss over $4 million in consulting fees for Tyson Fury. That's what broke the camel's back, though, right? But it's way more than that. He'd been sued a plethora of times before. They didn't have to go to bat, put up money a plethora of times for Bob Arum. It's ran this course, man. But I appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing, skin Hardaway 7T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.